you helped me make it. Good morning and welcome to Spawn Camp, where we've got some great things to talk about today. How you doing this morning?
Not too bad, not too bad. Hi, everyone. Oof. It is morning. It
Yep.
is morning.
Yep.
But no, honestly, we have a couple of really, really great things lined up, covering a variety of
Yeah. Yeah. We've got a selection of them. We've got 4 different things we're going to talk about today. Wow, we have 4 different things we're planning on talking about, and the other 15 that are going to come up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because teehee. Starting off with once again our AI nitpick of Hasbro's CEO said something along the lines of there's not a single person who doesn't use AI somehow for their campaign development, which I take offense to.
Yeah, it's a bit of a brave take considering all the shit that they have recently gone through.
Oh, very. It's kind of terrifying, honestly, the fact that then again, it's not unexpected with everything they've been going through recently.
Not at all.
Um, but yeah, he goes on to say that basically,
he
that
he formed this opinion from the group of 30 to 40 people that he plays D&D with regularly. And the article that I pulled this from, the guy, the author, actually had a really great point of he has a hard time playing with 4 people. So billionaire problems. I have too many people to play TTRPGs with. Uh,
yeah,
but his claim is that everybody in that group uses AI in their games.
but that's icky. Like, so I have a slight line I could see where it's okay, and that's only like making double checking the validity of like monsters and stuff like that within areas. Because you instead of doing the research yourself, yeah, sure, just have AI be like, so like if I do this and this happen, does that sound kinda okay? Or like I have a fish in the desert. Does that sound right? But beyond that, the like creative and inventive side of it, I don't see the use of AI being a good thing for any tabletop RPGs, really. You know?
So, well, then, I mean, that kind of leads to the first question that I had already had for this. Then, do you think that it's okay for small tables to use AI?
No,
No.
because like I have this very nitpicky stance on that which is you're playing a game that is based off of imagination. Don't bring some computer that is programmed to imagine for you into it because then that kills what you're bringing to the table, you
Yeah,
know?
that's fair. Uh, my counterpoint to that would just be that there are a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of different creative ability that are playing this game, including like middle schoolers out in the middle of nowhere. So these resources that make it really easy for them to be more creative in their game and to be able to input things that they'd have never thought of, I think could still be really useful.
Yeah, I mean like newer players and stuff like that. But I guess I'm looking at it from a standpoint of like where I currently am,
Mm-hmm.
and like I'm DMing the Wednesday game, and I don't, e, you know,
Yeah, no, I understand that. Yeah, it's one of those things. I feel it's kind of a complicated thing, and it's hard to find a straight yes or no anytime it is really complicated.
yeah.
But that said, then the follow up: should larger studios be able to use AI in the way that they currently are? Because we talked about last time that an AI model that you train on your own works
Mhm.
is more acceptable. And I think that still gets a little iffy with a big studio. But if you hire artists and authors that are okay with it,
Specifically. for that AI.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if it's their own in-house AI, it doesn't touch anyone else's stuff, that would be okay. And I guess that's would be the same thing for the individual's table. If you have the know-how to train an AI to like kind of go off the same vibes and thought processes as you and your table, then that could be a lot better off, like mentally for me, for using it within the table. But again, the problem comes where it's touching other people's stuff and stealing blatantly other people's work.
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
Um Honestly, it's kind of a such a weird topic in the fact that this year has like brought up not even just this year, but like the last couple of years has brought up so much in the way of AI getting into the entertainment industry. It's terrifying. Um, I do know that both Watsy and Hasbro have been taking a lot of fire from this standpoint that Mr. Chris Cox has put out there. um, Repeatedly in the past like year or so for multiple occasions of AI generated content. Which
Yeah.
does that include like the art, or do we know whether or not that's
So
just
the article that I found talking about it wasn't specific,
mm,
and so the best I can figure is, in good faith, that it would be things like, hey, what would be a good random encounter for this? Or what would be some good NPC names? That sort of stuff, like quick questions that a DM could go to, kind of like pull tables, which we already use.
yeah.
Uh, in good faith, that's my best version. Because I would expect that if you're in a group to be wealthy enough, like the players that he is talking about, that you could hire artists, and hopefully they are, if you want artwork and stuff like that.
Hopefully. Um yeah, no, it's so murky bringing AI into the tabletops scene, because there are good uses, I will say,
Mhm.
but there are also uses that cross the line.
Oh yeah.
um yeah, no, it's
I do think it's wild that in the past year, Watsy's gotten in trouble 2 or 3 separate times for use with AI. And the most recent one, they came out saying they didn't know that the artist they were using was using AI.
oh
And that one was wild to me because his whole platform is about his AI art. Like, if you go to his Instagram,
if
AI
yeah,
artist
like
is in
did
his
you look
bio.
at did you look at him really?
So that's kind of a cop out response. But for them to have like legitimately gotten in trouble so many times in the past 12 months, and then the
Mhm.
CEO of Hasbro to come back and be like, "Yeah, but everybody wants us to." No, clearly
No,
not.
obviously we don't. Um, Especially when, because that's kind of what touching back to like last time's AI thing.
Mm,
The moment it starts coming into the creative space is where we start losing a lot of the creative flair, because it's literally just taking and copying what's already been put out there.
yeah,
And there's no way of adding new into that when it's just, here, I'm going to take this person's work and this person's work and combine them together. And I'm going to make some weird hands, because AI still can't do fucking hands. Which, I mean, like, fair, valid. I am in the same boat when it comes to my drawings. However, hands are the devil. It's fine.
that
um,
yeah. That's totally fair. Tony in chat did bring up a good resource called Describe to like gather resources and stuff in the way that I was talking about.
Yeah.
And reassures that it does not use any AI. The best I can say is currently.
Currently.
And I have not personally checked into it, but what I can do is check into it.
Yeah.
So this is Describe. Oh, yeah, well, I figured that out whenever I went looking for the website. Thank you, Tony.
Oof.
So yeah, we can...
The one person in our group who knows how to spell couldn't spell.
Let's go to combat and just see what it does.
Is it just like RGN or
I'm not sure.
RNG?
It... Oh, okay, well, I don't have a pro membership.
Well, screw you. So to be fair,
actually,
I
probably can't
understand
do audio.
why a lot
Let's
of these,
go to maps.
the ones that don't have AI are going to like
Free.
need someone to pay for it. Because, you know,
Yeah.
it takes real people doing this stuff.
This does seem that like it's essentially just a total resource location.
Okay.
And the fact that it's got these pricings is kind of why, again, think that like smaller groups, especially ones made up of children, probably are going to continue relying on AI, and I don't think that they should be...
They shouldn't be penalized for that because they do not have the resources.
Because instead of doing all of this, they could easily just open up an AI chatbot and be like, what is a great name for my D&D blacksmith NPC? And then the thing disappears.
Oh.
I was Googling patent stuff, that's why that's there.
Ta-da!
Name for D&D NPC. Cool. That's great. That's why you shouldn't use AI. It's unreliable.
For real, though.
But anyway, being able to just like pull something up that quickly for free, I think is where a lot of the appeal is for smaller groups, and certainly for larger groups, but they need to use it less.
Need to use it less or use it only on specific sets of things, you know, like confirmation after you've already created rather than the actual creation process.
And honestly, and I don't know of one currently, but if there were a platform where you could just put in your own stuff and then let it train off of that and throw stuff back at you, absolutely great. Use that all fucking day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But
the
as of right now,
pulling from other people's works.
I mean, heck, there's a lot of artists out there who are literally putting AI killers in their art, which is basically just like bits and imaging and stuff like that that destroy the AI's ability to read what they are putting out there.
Honestly, I don't think it's too far away from that same sort of thing being done in written works, where there's invisible text and stuff like that being added in to throw off language models, because they can still read that.
Yeah.
At least from a web design standpoint, that wouldn't be too difficult to put in.
Yeah.
Now, if they're pulling finished stuff, then there's not a whole lot we can do. But there have been some reports of AI models being trained straight from YouTube and Netflix.
Ew.
On videos. I don't know how you would... I guess you could use some of the same artwork poisoning techniques and just embed that in your video stream.
In your videos and stuff like that. But ew. It just gives such a big ick.
Continuing on with CEOs who have bad takes, PlayStation CEO says the PCs are hard to set up. And that's why it's okay to have nearly $1,000 console.
Yeah, that one was a real big take of his. Mind you, this is coming in the wake of the reveal of the PlayStation 5 Pro new pricing, which is like $700 fucking dollars for a console without a disc drive, without anything like extra. Literally, the only updates to this are graphics,
Yeah.
which no games currently made can use. Like what? What? But in his defense, there are a few pros to consoles. Like for newer gamers and stuff like that, it's really easy. You plug it in, you go. But there's no customization to it. Um, but no, his standpoint was PCs are difficult to set up, and so they're going to stand firmly on consoles and such are the future of the company, and that's how they're going to find success is keeping and updating the consoles that they've already got going.
Which I do want to point out too, because that price point of $700. If we go to Linus Tech Tips videos on YouTube, there's the $500 budget gaming PC guide, the $69 gaming PC, which also has an upgrade to $150 gaming PC, a $725 gaming PC, a $400 gaming PC, a $250 gaming PC,
Yeah.
$600 gaming PC. All of these options for full computers that have other use outside of gaming, but are also as powerful as any fucking console.
Right? I mean, like, personally, my PC right now is running 3 different screens, one of which is a tablet for me to draw on, as well as my mic, my headphones, my everything else. Whereas with the PlayStation, you get one function. It do one thing. And it doesn't even do that well if you have a power surge.
Yeah.
I'm not salty at all. Listen, the amount of PlayStations I've had to send in to get fucking fixed because their power got turned off a little bit wrong.
Well, I mean, to be fair, get a UPS. You can get a cheap one at Staples.
Yeah.
Uh, I do think it's a problem that they are that susceptible, but also if you have that problem that often, get a UPS.
No. So what's even worse is like this is over the matter of years, right? So my power doesn't go
If
out.
it happened to me twice, I would get one. UPS is a universal
I
power
don't
supply.
have money.
It's essentially an under-desk battery backup. It
Yeah.
provides enough power for you to safely shut down all of your equipment. A cheap one will give you like an extra 10 minutes of time. Really expensive ones will let you run for several hours.
And mind you, that's dependent on what you have plugged in.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Now, there's
No,
a
I
difference
have-
between a UPS and an actual battery backup, because a battery backup would have delay time between losing power and starting up. A UPS is designed so that you plug all your devices directly into it, and when it stops receiving wall power, it immediately starts sending its own power.
Yeah. It's the better version of a battery backup. Basically, it doesn't it basically charge itself up
Yeah.
as it's
That-
also powering everything else.
Exactly. As a side note, it is something that at some point I'm going to make sure that everybody here at R4R has UPSs, because they're important to have, and some of us live in rural places.
I have one. I have cows outside.
I didn't single anyone out.
I have one for my PC, and I don't use consoles anymore, so like it's kind of become a non-problem for me.
I can confidently say I think you're the only one of us whose neighbors might have rural route in their address.
I have horses down the road. really cool. They're really nice. Um, back to PlayStation.
So
Um,
you also have to get external drives to run
yes,
discs.
yes, which I get most people don't use discs anymore. That being said, we did have the big resurgence whenever they were like, oh, yeah, no, you're just renting out the digital copies of these things that you're buying. And so there was a lot of people going, fine, I'll just get my discs. Fuck you. Which they combated with, well, you still gotta download stuff. Fucking what?
Also, as much as I am absolutely a firm believer, and I like to push as much as often, physical media is the way to go. Own your media. That is getting harder and harder because one of the ways that companies are ensuring that we can't is they produce less.
Yup.
So, like, I can't stand having to stream movies. I like to own my movies, and if you go to the movie section of any big box store, there's less there today than there was 5 years ago. There's less there then than there was 5 years before that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, they have definitely slowly been making it a digital only medium.
Which, I mean, that can only go so long before people start sailing the seas again. Which is what led to the streaming market as it is.
Yup. We people find a way. Um arg.
This baby
That,
can hold so many terabytes of booty. Arg.
you're fine. But yeah, so it kind of comes down to within at least this discussion, the pros and cons of PC versus console. And they're really, really heavy out there again, especially with this new console coming out. There's so many of the older console gamers going, but like, why though? Um, a cheap PC, like Rev said, it's not gonna run you a terribly large amount because there are versions where you can build smaller. But for the people who just want to buy it out the box, it is gonna run you a little bit more than a PC or than a console. But you'll be able to do so much more on it.
On that note, Bright in chat, if you wouldn't mind, how much did you spend on your current mini PC? Some of the issues we've had aside, that's one that someone in our group has recently done. But also, while we're waiting on that, consoles tend to be easier for new gamers to get the hang of, and they tend to have a more limited selection, which is whatever. But that newer gamers thing, I think, is also why consoles tend to be the choice of parents. Because there's no setup, there's no, oh, what if my kids get into this or that? It is,
Yeah.
this box plays games, and here are the games it plays.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely for younger gamers, especially ones who do not have as much internet safety to them. Because let's face it, young kids are not the brightest when it comes to DS. It is definitely a good alternative. But what parent is gonna spend $700 on a game box?
Yeah. Well, and I can even, like, I've even talked about in the past, the reason why Xbox hit the generation it did in the way it did was people that are specifically my age group tend to prefer or have preferred Xbox in the past versus people that were a little bit older went for PlayStation and people that were a little bit younger went for PlayStation. And that's because when I got into gaming, Xbox had a built-in hard drive. It came with multiple games. So if you were a parent buying a console for your kid, there was the PlayStation, which was just the device.
Yeah.
And then if you wanted your kid to play some games, you had to get games. And then if you wanted your kid to be able to save games, you had to buy the memory cards.
Little memory
and it
cards.
was all these extra things that you had to get. Or you could go over there and get that box that has all of it. And so parents bought the easy one. And this is that same thing of parents aren't going to want to buy a gaming PC and a mouse and a keyboard and multiple monitors and all that shit for their 12-year-old to play Minecraft. They could get an
Yeah.
Xbox, or in this case, a PlayStation.
A PlayStation. I will say I am still guilty of falling into the Xbox mine because I do have the Xbox X. But it was partially bought for me as a Christmas gift, so like I didn't pay for all of it.
I will say, I do think that anybody who is hardcore, specifically Xbox or PlayStation fanboy in this day and age, it's pointless. There's
It
not
is,
a difference. Handhelds have always been specifically marketed to kids, kind of. If you go back
Sort
to
of.
the original Game Boy, it was specifically designed for use by adults. In fact, one of the design requirements is it had to be able to survive a 6-foot fall from, as an example, a shirt pocket onto a concrete floor. That is not something that would happen from use with a child.
Well, you know. I do know that specifically going with the Switch, the controllers on that are so easy to snap off. My nephew broke 4 of them at different times.
Honestly, I wonder if the Switch Lite should have been the original version. Push that out.
Yeah, probably.
And then let that be the one that, like, parents get for their kids. And then you do an upgraded version where you can take the Joy-Cons off and you can dock it to your TV and hook up multiple controllers.
Yeah.
That's the route they should have taken with the Switch.
Yeah, but I think the only reason that we got the Lite was because of parents complaining about the fact that their kids were breaking the fucking Joy-Cons.
Yeah. Also, we were supposed to be looking at the release of the Switch 2 within the next couple of months. But that news is from 3 or 4 years ago. So,
to be fair, they did have like an updated version of the Switch. It just didn't
Switch
update.
OLED?
Yes, OLED. I have that one.
That is not a new console.
I know, it's Tears of the Kingdom themed though.
That's PS4 to PS4 Pro. It's the same device.
I know. I didn't. So, like, here's the thing, though. I gave my original Switch to my nephew when he left, when he moved out. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll just get the better version of the Switch, since it was about the same price as what I paid for my original Switch at the time. And it had Legend of Zelda on it. Huzzah!
Frickin' Zelda nerds.
I am a basic bitch. If you show me Legend of Zelda, I will give you my monies.
I've previously commented to specific R4R members that I never got into the Zelda games as a kid.
That's
and
right.
so as such, I don't think all of the old Zelda games are all that good. And in fact, that they are all fully nostalgia based.
Oh, 100%.
And when I pointed that out to the person that I was talking to, they got very aggressively in defense of how amazing those games are. I'm like, yeah, but you grew up on those games. You're proving my point. Because they're overcomplicated puzzle games disguised as adventure games. And if you're not looking for that because you've played Breath of the Wild, and you're like, ooh, I want more of that, you're gonna hate it.
That is valid. Being said, the first game I played was Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Brian immediately calls himself out.
What's funny is that's not even the one I was talking about, because this was a conversation I had in a car with this individual.
Oh.
Yeah, this was an in-person conversation that got heated.
Wow.
Man, Tony's a bitch.
I love Legend of Zelda.
Hey, how you doing, Soul Destroyer?
But yeah, I guess since we're picking on Nintendo, we should probably move on to Game Freak suing the Power World devs?
Which, by
Like,
the way,
actually,
I'd like to point out, we didn't set up these segues. They're just going well for us.
right?
But yeah, so, first of all, thank you. Doing pretty good today. I've got a cup of coffee and I've got a cup of water, and I'm rambling with a friend.
That happens.
The Game Freak Power World lawsuit is not what a lot of people thought it would be. There was a lot of rumors and conversation early on about some sort of copyright infringement or something along those lines. It turns out what Game Freak is going for is patent infringement.
Which, if I'm not wrong, patent usually has to do with the way things are built.
So it tends to be hardware based, but you can also have software patents, and you can have patents for game design. So
Okay.
there's a bit of all of that in there.
But unfortunately, I mean, like, the quote-unquote patent of Pocket Monsters, Pokemon, all of that is literally have ball, throw at creature into ball. Unfortunately, that's been done by a lot of people.
Hey Sky, welcome to
Digimon did it
chat.
first. Hi, Scott.
Digimon did
How
beat
is that?
Pokemon to it. But keeping in mind that all of these are based on trading card games, I'm actually already prepared for this conversation.
No.
So if we look at this original, at this, not original, but this patent for a card game toy for use in a battle game, that also equally describes Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, both of which are older.
Yeah, a lot older. Well as
yeah,
I could even go as far as like trading card quote unquote toys into Battle Monsters. God, what the fuck was that goddamn anime called? It was like literally right after I got out of like the kids anime era. Bakugan.
Yeah, there's that one. Trading card games go back to the 1800s, but
Yeah.
I am leaning into their specific patent information here, which is that for use in a battle game. Because it's that specificity that makes a patent enforceable. So if they're going to say that, oh, we have some specific technology to our game that makes it patentable, they're opening themselves up to a lot of these similar disputes. Now, I looked at their patents. There are about 75 patents that they have filed that relate to Pokemon.
Okay.
Of those 75 patents, a lot of them actually had to do with the way they interact with the console and with the gamer. They snuck that through with stupid grammar. Anyway, we hate those things. Back to what I was saying midstream. Most of the patents they had to do with like the game sharing with the old Game Boy cables and stuff like that. There was a bunch of really cool console specific patents, but that's all hardware based. So once you start looking at the software issues, which is where you have to look to find what might apply to this, the only thing that I could find that might be what they're looking at is the region specific spawning mechanics. It's the only one I could find, but again, it was 75 different patents to go through. They all had varying types of design and engineering legalese in them. So if I refresh this page and go to the description of something as simple as a card game, this is one page of the information on it. It's dense.
Yeah. Oof. That is a lot.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
And I was doing this late into the night last night. So I've read it.
I remember seeing the message at like 1 o'clock in the morning. You sent it, and I answered at like 2.
I skimmed through about 30 of them.
Damn.
Yeah, and that was the most related that I could find. Was the one about the card games themselves, and then there was a separate one for playing electronic-based card games, which again I don't think that's the route
It's
they're
very,
going
very
because
because
Magic the
there's
Gathering
no.
by Hasbro has an online card game.
There's also the fact that there are no cards in Pal World.
Yeah.
There's no trading card. There's no physical medium for them yet.
In fact, realistically, if we want to compare Power World the game to Pokemon, any of the actual like mainline games, they're completely different. Like they have the base tenets of person goes around collecting monsters to train and fight. But one is a 2D battle to battle adventure game, and the other one is an open world survival crafting game that has creatures in it.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at Power World's like
If you
self-described
take it to its
inspirations, that's
literal,
Arc.
mhm. Literally the base parts of it, because even like Arc, later on in development, they got a Pokeball.
Yeah.
You know, like I could literally go up to my T-Rex or Giga and like, here, stay in this for a hot second. We're gonna go on an adventure, and you're not dexterous enough to make it. But yeah, so like it's, ew.
It's I don't
There's so much.
understand what they could realistically be going for in good faith. That's my issue here.
Yeah, I don't think there's really any good faith to it. I think there was a whole bunch of uproar in the community where
You're
a whole
you're
bunch
exactly
of
right there. So,
fanboys were like, "Ew, they touched my stuff."
in fact, something that I was talking about with another cast member before we went live is one of the interesting things about patenting games is that you can patent specific rules or specific lines of code, but you cannot patent the concept of the game. Which is why you have Monopoly and its 200 variations, but you also have the 2 million generic games that are Monopoly.
Monopoly.
It's the exact same rules with a board that's the exact same layout, but because it's just different enough, it's fully legal. Because the
Yeah.
idea, the concept, is that gameplay is already a universal thing. People are going to do it. You cannot lock down, well, I own this idea of a game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
No, it's all very, meh. And the fact that they made an official announcement saying they were going to pursue something like this, and then the Pal World devs saying that, yeah, so like we're having to lawyer up um not that long ago. So a little bit of our attention that was on Pal World is going to be like somewhere else for.
yeah.
I mean, honestly, it really is just taking down the gaming community as a whole. When things that, yes, they are similar, but they are definitely not the same.
Yeah, exactly. Uh,
It,
Weird tangent. While I was reading through these documents, I did learn something really interesting.
what?
The plural for Pokemon is Pokemon. We all know this.
Yeah.
Except that legally speaking, the plural for Pokemon is Pokemons.
Pokemons.
In the
You mean
documentation, when they refer to Pokemon in the plural, they say Pokemons. Which, considering that Pokemon is a portmanteau of pocket monsters,
Uh-huh.
putting an S on is the correct pluralization.
I don't like it.
I don't either.
Because, like, I say Pokemons whenever I'm trying to be funny goofy.
Yeah.
Not whenever I mean it, like, actually literally.
To be fair, I say Pokemans if I'm doing that.
The Pokemons. Um, yeah. I hate that.
Also, fun fact if you want to go on this deep dive, most of Nintendo's patents that reference Pokemon have nothing to do with Pokemon. They're a patent about a specific game, console, or product, or something along those lines. And then when they're describing its features, it will list games that could take advantage of those features and will therefore list Pokemon.
Huh.
Yeah. So that was one of the reasons why it was also taking me a long time to go through this, because a lot of them, it was like, well, does this relate to anything?
Debatable.
Oh. Um, that's interesting. I don't
What?
know. So Tony's bringing up if dropping the S from Pokemon's has to do with Mons meaning mountain in certain languages. And I don't know if that would directly link it, because otherwise Ford would have never made the Nova.
I don't know.
Also, for those who don't know, Bright is currently calling out Tony because in a Minecraft call yesterday or the day before, he was referring to the blue stone material that you get from underwater pyramids in Minecraft as prismamarine.
Prismamarine.
And the first time he said it, there was a bit of a stutter in it. And so we thought he was just like playing around because he said it a lot back to back. And then I was like, hey, are you intentionally putting an extra syllable in there? And he got very confused and did not know that it was wrong.
Oof. I love the call out we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Or Bubby.
No, everyone is content.
Look, all right, you knew that this was going to happen at some point. You knew that you were going to activate my trap card here, all right? So
He's been
you know
lying
what?
in wait.
I have been here the whole time. Look, I understand that the colors may be what they were officially named, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to rename them because it works way better. And I would absolutely...
Prismamarine?
Yes.
No.
Prismarine is...
Prismarine.
But no. Prismarine. Nah.
Prismarine.
Nah, absolutely not. But it is, I think, more interesting for the unique color that you get underwater to reference prisma, right? Meaning the separation out, like prisms, right? Separating out the colors into the different rainbows. And marine, the space where you find it underwater.
No,
and if
Space
you
Marines
tie
are
them
not
together... No, but Space Marines are based off of regular Marines, which are predicated by the fact of being able to deploy amphibiously, which means in and out of water. Don't you pedant me. I will pedant back.
If you've paid attention to current events, Tony, but Marines are in the desert.
Marines can be anywhere. That's where amphibious comes from. In and out of water. Now I need those listening ears, my friend. You're in the sports segment now, baby.
Are we? That's not exactly.
Nope. You're in the sports segment now, and we're talking about colors today. Welcome to sports. All right.
So what I'm getting from this conversation is that you're all for the eating of crowns.
That's not what was said, and I don't need you to talk about Marines more than that. Like, that was not the point of this conversation. The point was colors, all right? So.
This is not a segue to Minecraft news. We don't have Minecraft news. This is Sports with Tony.
This is absolutely Sports with Tony, featured segment. Anyway, calling my shot right now. Anyway, so, look, but you need to rename this, all right? Because... it works so much better with Prismamarine than it does Prismarine.
You know what you should do on the server is just rename several stacks of Prismarine to Prismamarine, because you can do that on an anvil.
Yeah, I could.
And then just distribute the regular Prismarine and your Prismamarine so that they don't stack cleanly in someone's inventory, and let them figure it out on their own.
So here's the thing with that. The rest of y'all would have to get your shit together, because it only works if you have Prismarine to mix it with Prismamarine, but the rest of y'all don't have shit.
Well, that's
All
what
right.
you would have to distribute both. Also, true story. I suggested we play on the server last night.
We did. He did. They did. They
Wow.
did.
Yeah.
Wow.
Listen, it's not a
Wow.
dating game. It's not thirsty.
I
Have you seen the Enderman?
I mean, I do have a whole bunch of them captured in places.
look. What I'm hearing is a lot of can't. All right.
Lots
And
of
what I
Minecraft
think
sex
is, if we talk better about what weird name blocks are in Minecraft, we can really turn this conversation around. So
Last minute
what
addition. I do have a Minecraft segue after Tony.
Oh,
Gets done.
nice.
here's the question: what blocks do you hate in Minecraft? This is the true question, because
Mud.
I can tell you what
Mud. I hate the way it sounds.
mud. You hate the way it sounds. That's interesting. We've had this conversation before because I actually one of those people that mud and skulk, the squish sounds are nice to me. I enjoy the squishy sounds in Minecraft.
I hate the the tall plants. So like the too tall grass and flowers and all that. I hate them.
That's valid because it gets in the way whenever you're trying to kill things.
And when you're trying to see things.
Also,
Yeah,
that,
it is that is annoying. I dislike the way that flower mechanics work in general, right? Like not being able to bring more flowers unless they're 2 blocks tall, or like not being able to bone meal certain flowers, but being able to, like, you need to be able to grow more flowers, and that not being the case.
I love that you're pointing out diorite because it's a commonly hated block. In a world that we have in common called Seed Buddies, I'm building a massive lighthouse out of polished diorite.
See, diorite is not my problem. Diorite, I get the hate for diorite. I actually like diorite, but there are many other blocks. For me, blocks that specifically avoid certain things. So we're talking about calcite. We're talking about quartz. Why does quartz not have a wall? Quartz has everything else, but not a wall. I want to incorporate quartz into my builds, but now I can't do that. Then they make me substitute in something that looks nothing like quartz, because I need a wall to go there to make the design work. Or they make me try to use something like a fence gate or a chain or something, and it just doesn't function. If I want a build to work, I need all the pieces to be there. And we've decided to make some of the pieces, but not all the pieces, because someone was a lazy asshole.
So you're going on this rant because of the bridge you tried building yesterday?
No, but yes. Look, I am currently building a bridge, and out of Prisma Marine and cherry wood and glass. And I will die on the hill that it is Prisma Marine. I don't care what the spelling is. This is what it is now. Anyway, out of Prisma Marine and glass, there were several other really good options for making that design pop, but they were all in blocks that didn't have walls. So I couldn't actually build anything the way that we wanted to. And you have these weird things where, like, take Prisma Marine, for example. Prisma Marine, you can create a wall. Dark Prisma Marine, you can't. Why? What about the persistence of black dye makes this not suitable for a wall? Why? That doesn't make any sense. You have to carve out a specific distinction for this other block that there's no reason for it. Just give us the accessibility, right? It's like we took a part of the street and just roped it off because we could. Why? Open up the whole fucking street, all right? Minecraft, I need you to build up the courage here, okay? I need you to have the courage to just do it. All right.
On that note, so Minecraft Live is coming up.
Yeah.
They're gonna drop new stuff.
They're probably every time so far. Now I'm a newcomer to Minecraft. I understand that. I've not been here since the beginning, and maybe if I've been here since the beginning, I'd be more grateful for the scraps that they've given you guys. But what the thing is, they're gonna drop something new. They're not gonna fill out the old stuff, right? They didn't fill out the old stuff. They added tough blocks, right? They didn't.
Oh, so tough blocks were originally a block that you could do nothing with. With the
Yes.
copper update.
And what I mean by that is they added the like polished and the bricks, right? They added a subset to the tough blocks. They didn't specifically like they didn't take something you can already use and fill it out completely. They created a whole subset of something else.
Copper.
Yeah.
They did
Copper,
it with
they
copper.
did add some stuff to copper, but not really. Like they created
What are you looking for here, Tony?
Copper, weapons, armor, and tools.
No, I absolutely
that's what the
like
modding
what they did
community
with
is
copper. For the record, I love what they did with copper. But it needs to be more widespread, right?
On that
like
note,
it
Soul
doesn't.
Destroyer, the mob vote is dead. They're not doing it anymore.
Yeah, no. It didn't go well the last couple of times.
Yeah,
People boycotted it. It was fun.
Because they said, hey, we could create 3 or 4 of these for you, but we're only going to do one. And everyone was like,
the wrong one. Because the copper golem was perfect.
I love DLA, my little ghost boy.
But like, this is exactly the kind of thing we're talking about, right? You can create golems from certain things. You can create these creatures from certain things, but not other certain things. And it doesn't make sense why categories of metals don't all work in the same types of ways. Mm-hmm. And then you can have specific things you can create with metals, right? But why can't you create a copper sword? You totally can. But not in Minecraft for some reason. Why can't you create, right, like a copper golem? Why can't you, right? Like, it doesn't make sense. There are these categories that exist, and not everything does what it should be able to do.
Yeah.
Right? If you're going to have the lack of courage to limit calcite, you need to limit it completely. Right? You need to say calcite is a crumbly block, and it interacts more like a dirt would than it does a rock. Okay, that makes sense. There are sort of like workabilities to that. You can't just be like, calcite is
you can find it in
right,
quartz.
like right, like it's in the same hellhole that quartz is, and I hate it because I want. And here's the other thing, like I want nice, like single color blocks that you can build with, and I know that you can do some with yarn. I understand that, like
also,
whatever.
There's concrete.
Yes, you can also do that, but can you make like very specific things out of concrete? Can you do walls and?
Yes.
You can? Okay. Then that helps me out there. But also...
Not the walls you want, though.
No.
Yeah. That's what I fucking thought. You can't create the specific wall interactive block. You can just build them up. Cool.
What if there was a feature where you could mix dyes with a bucket of water and then splash that onto blocks and paint?
Sure. I mean, that'd be interesting. I am just talking about consistent functionality. This is the, like, we could pie in the sky features all day long, but you asked for the sports segment. You asked for the sports segment.
We made fun of the way you said Prismarine.
You called out to the universe asking for sports to happen, and now you're getting sports and you're unhappy. So, you know what?
Also,
whatever.
Mark, really quickly,
right.
How dare you besmirch my armadillos that way?
But like, right? They have the same issue with armadillos versus turtle scutes, right? You can get wolf armor extremely easy once you get a single armadillo. But why do turtles not drop their scutes in the same way? You have to devise this really intricate method for developing the turtle helmet, and I understand that like the turtle helmet gives you some really cool functionality of being able to breathe underwater, so that probably has something to do with it, but just make the drop rates lower. Done. Right? It doesn't make a ton of sense that you have to devise this extremely specific thing when other mobs drop that same thing indiscriminately.
So if you think about the way those animals are in real life, though, they're showing the turtles progress from infancy, where they're this big, to full size.
Are we tying what Minecraft is doing to real life now? Because that's
Minecraft
a whole
is
other thing.
hyper realistic.
But if you look about what it is in real life, we're going to go back to the previous conversation about all the different block types that don't work the way they should in real life. I understand that, and if that's the line you want to toe, just toe it. Don't half-ass it. Don't partially.
I don't know what you're
just
talking about
do
when you
it.
say these things don't work in real life. I have a 1 cubic meter block of dirt outside my house just floating in midair right now.
Right? Like, and I have no problem with Minecraft not being real life. But if your argument is that's how it works in real life to explain why certain things work the way they do, that doesn't make sense. Right? Like, you can't half-ass this conversation. That's what a lot of the topics today have come down to is you have to hold your reasoning. You can't bounce back and forth. Well, we want to take this one here and this one here and this one here, right? We can't use AI here, but not over here. Don't use AI to replace us, but replace them with AI, right? Like, it's coming for everybody. You know what I mean? So in this same way,
I love how you're equating the Minecraft game mechanic to literally AI.
Look,
the devil that it is.
do you not want your guests to show that they were listening and include your topics? Because I could not. But look, all of this is more about the reasoning and the approach, right? Because there are AI companies, right? Like, there are AI companies, and while people don't like Google rolling out AI, there's not the same sort of kickback as there is to Hasbro. Partially because Hasbro back and forths it, and they like try to be the good guy, and then they're the bad. If you're just going to be the villain, be the villain, right? Mm-hmm. Don't half-ass it. And in the same way, if you're going to design stone blocks, or blocks that are stone-esque or in that category, make them operate like stones. If you're going to design metal, make them operate like metal.
It's block game.
It is block game. Make it blocks. All right. If it's block game, why are there non-blocks? All right.
Because it's a 12-year-old block game.
I look.
Well, its official release was in 2012.
I'm just saying, block game is what block game is, and I will still enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. But this has just been what's been on my sports brain as I took my morning creatine. Okay, so I just wanted to share with you. So if you take away from anything from this, is that you need to put on pressure to Minecraft to be consistent in its design choices, which will enrich everyone's lives. Also, they need to rename the Prismarine block to Prismarine, because that's
so much harder to say.
Absolutely, no, it's not.
Prismarine.
No, it's not.
Prismarine.
All right. What if we compromise and just call it Prizarine?
Prizarine. I mean, we could go with the Bright's lovely additions to this, which is Pwismamaween.
I would prefer that to what they've actually called it. I would absolutely do it. Minecraft, look me in the eyes, summon the courage that you've not had for other things, and do it.
Also, I do have news for you, Tony. Minecraft is not a company. Mojang and Mojang kind of is. Who you're really talking to is Microsoft.
Look, Microsoft. Get up to it, all right? Look, you should know better by this point, all right? And I understand that Mojang is technically the publisher, and that they're owned by other people who are owned by other people who are owned by other people, but we're not getting into the capitalism conversation today that is the hellscape of everyone owning nothing and everything, all right? We're not talking about that, because that's a whole nother issue.
This isn't like a distant connection thing. Microsoft fully bought out Mojang a few years ago, so it's not like they're parent company of a parent company. They just are Microsoft.
They are a subset of.
Yes, and it is, but it isn't, right? Like, so they are absolutely bought out, and yes, it's a subsidiary of Minecraft or of Microsoft. I'm gonna keep calling it Minecraft. Why? Because everybody knows Microsoft. I honestly, that is a thing. If they wanted to release,
I need to make a new Linux distro specifically for Microsoft.
Exactly.
Or specifically for Minecraft.
And on that, anytime you type in Prismarine, it needs to be Pwismaween. Have a good day, y'all. Bye bye.
And that was Sports with Tony.
Back to the Minecraft Live thing. So they are teasing a couple of new game drops never before seen that will be coming out with one watching the live stream, which is the 28th at 1 p.m. EDT. Directly from, of course, the Minecraft HQ over in Stockholm, because you know. But yeah, I'm honestly pretty excited for a lot of the things that could be coming out because we're at the point in the game development for the next update that we should be seeing actual proof of concept.
Yeah.
And like actual like stuff. Him in the fucking chat. I blacked out. What just happened? So I'm honestly really excited just because the next update, if I'm not mistaken, was the Wilds one? Or am I behind? I cannot remember. We haven't done actual research on this. Tony just brought up Minecraft and I was like, fine, Minecraft news. I know this one.
I think you're right. I think the Wilds update was the last one.
Because it gave us the armadillos and wolf farm. I think Rev does on their side somewhere. It usually sounds like.
Oh, sorry. It's a train.
Oh, love that. Choo choo, motherfucker. But no, the Minecraft Live preview gave away fuck all. It was just a whole bunch of animals dancing. Yeah, we got different colored wolves and all that stuff. That's right. But not pigs, the cowards. Okay, Tony. There is texture packs for that.
There's actually like Minecraft official textures and resource packs for different colored pigs and cows and stuff.
Yep. Because that's all it really is
also,
the texture.
Tony, bringing up cows, there are 3 cow variants in Minecraft.
They just all look very similar.
Yeah. And one of the mob votes that didn't succeed was a 4th cow variant.
The Moo Bloom!
Yep.
I miss my baby. Why the fuck did we get a squid?
They are in the game. Tony, go to a mushroom island. That's right, this ad got snoozed, so Tony could continue his rant earlier.
Oh.
So deal with it. This is your own. This is the consequences of your own behavior.
You've done this to yourself. Oh, he's full damage.
I love those. Whenever I do personal worlds, I tend to look for seeds where I can reach most of the biomes pretty quickly from spawn. Because I'm a resource goblin and I don't want to have to walk for 4 days to find something.
I just fly. The moment I get an elytra, I will start flying and filling in the entire map.
I go for farms first. I start doing my redstone basically. Well, I mine first to get to redstone. Then I start building my farms. And then through my farms, I get god tier equipment and go to the end.
I will never understand redstone. Just never.
After this ad ends, if we want to move to the next topic, I actually pulled it up so we can watch it.
Oh, are we gonna do this thing?
Yeah, we're gonna do a thing.
Mm-hmm.
The ad has ended. Welcome back.
Let's talk about the new Devil May Cry anime.
Sweet.
The trailer finally dropped after forever. I think this anime was talked about back in 2018. And we're finally seeing like proof of concept beyond just the directors and stuff saying, "Hey, yeah, we're gonna work on a thing," and then going radio fucking silent.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start this. You tell me when to stop because I don't know anything about Devil May Cry.
Yeah. So pretty. The motorcycle is definitely new.
That honestly felt like a bit of an Akira reference.
Mm-hmm. And I like the action scenes that they're giving here because it does very much pull from the games.
Right.
Dante's bullshit action. Oh, the voice though.
So I noticed you mentioned something in the notes about the voice. What's up with this?
So the original voice actor for Dante was who the fuck was it? Original VA.
Oh, I don't have the audio showing because we get in trouble for audio enough on our channel.
Yeah.
I recognize you guys can't hear the voice actor, which is why I'm starting conversation about the voice actor. I thought some of this through, y'all.
We got this.
Yeah, no, I am intentionally not showing the audio, so that way we don't get into issues once this is published after the live. Because technically, what we're doing is absolutely within fair use. But that doesn't mean that we wouldn't get in trouble in the short term.
Yeah.
Yep. Annie Husett, the voice actor, which I'm assuming you're talking about the one for Dante.
Yes. Yes, specifically for Dante. The original voice actor was Matthew Kimsky, and he did a couple of the voices through the games. And it's the more like gruff, rougher. I don't want to say older, but snarky one. And there is a confirmation that Johnny Young Bosch is gonna be the one who is playing Dante in the new series,
Okay.
which kind of messes with a few things in my brain for the canon. Because Johnny Young Bosch also played Nero, which was a character in Devil May Cry 3? I think 3, yeah. Oh no, 4. It was 4. It was 4. It was 4 because 3 was the one where they did like a whole vampire thing. Mind you, none of these games can be played in order if you want to go on the timeline. Because, you know, they, Star Wars did.
So,
but yeah.
Going back to the motorcycle sequence real quick.
Mm-hmm.
There's like colorful demon guys that he's fighting.
Yes. Yes, that is pretty standard. So basically, Devil May Cry is a game about Dante, who is the son of Sparta, half demon, half devil, quote unquote. And he goes around and for money kills demons who are causing issues. Not a lot of money, because bitch is always broke.
Does he not get paid a lot, or does he spend it all at the bar?
Why not both? What's even worse is, like, he doesn't go to the bar for alcohol. No. Strawberry sundaes.
Yeah, we didn't specify what kind of bar. It's an ice cream bar.
It's an ice cream bar. Strawberry sundaes and pizza. That's all he eats. Anyway, that's like a whole running gag, is he's always broke, always has pizza. The pizza place that he orders from, he has an extensive tab with. But yeah, so the motorcycle's new. I don't think I've ever seen him actually on a motorcycle, except for in the old anime. Which, by the way, this is a reimagining, I guess. of an anime that came out circa 2009.
It's weird that an anime from 2009 is now old. In that same
We're
vein,
old.
I just saw My Hero Academia listed in the category of long-running anime on Crunchyroll.
I mean, that's not wrong.
I don't like hearing it
It's right up there with One Piece.
because My Hero is 8 years old as an anime.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it came out
2016.
so long ago. 2016. I remember.
Yes, for real.
It's bad. Bad. This is bad. Anyway, um, but yeah, so it's kind of doing a thing where they're trying to bring new life to the games. Especially seeing as it's I'm confused on whether or not they're trying to like bring more focus to the old games or if they're working with Capcom to bring out attention for a new game. Um, because 5 kind of ended the series.
Mhm.
Like Dante and Virgil fucking unless you haven't played the game, spoiler warning, they fucking died. It ended.
If your two main characters are named Dante and Virgil, I really don't think death is as final as you might suggest.
To be fair, Virgil died a couple of times.
Yeah. Uh, when your source material for character names is the Divine Comedy, I think you're playing fast and loose with the rules of mortality. Also, speaking of you mentioning he's always eating pizza, I do love the pizza reference. And 1986, would that be in relation to the original?
1986. How do you mean?
The pizza box says 1986. Do you think that might be referential to the first game? I, again, don't know.
No, that's no. That's just probably the pizza place. Unfortunately, I don't know that deep into that side of the lore. I don't know of anything in Devil May Cry that has anything to do with 1986. But I am googling.
Okay, yeah, it's much newer than I would have thought then. Nothing
But,
comes up specific to 1986 whenever you search it that way.
Yeah, no. But yes, so basically it's a hack and slash game with like hot ladies. Also Dante, he's there too, but let's face it, the real draw is either Trish Lady or Nero.
I kind of feel the need to point out the guns are
Yes.
insanely accurate. And I don't mean like firing accurate. I mean to real. These are
The way they are
Berettas.
looked. Mm-hmm.
Like I owned that gun
What
2
is
years
that?
ago.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's another thing that I absolutely adore with this project is the creators are working with Studio Mir, who are known for like The Legend of Korra or Voltron or so it's like some high end good animation.
Speaking of Legend of Korra and new anime coming out, the same studio that did Legend of Korra is also working on a new One Piece project, which is The One Piece, a Netflix original anime, which is basically just a reanimated version and more condensed version of the original One Piece anime. So
Yes.
they're removing a lot of the filler and condensing episodes to make it easier for new people to get into it, which I think is really smart in conjunction with their live action, as long as they do it well.
As long as they do it well.
Which,
yeah, no,
I mean,
especially
Netflix is
being
really setting itself up as the live action anime place.
They are, which is kind of funny with the foul starts they had at the beginning. Death Note.
I'm glad that they took those as like learning steps instead of just being like, oh, failed, can't do it.
Yes, we're not going to do that.
Because everything I heard from Bleach was that it was acceptable. I
It was
personally really
okay.
enjoyed the live action Full Metal Alchemist.
I like the Yu Yu Hakusho.
Mm.
If you've seen it, it does darken up what used to be a very bubbly series, and I kind of here for it. Also, Hiei's hot.
Um, we don't have to talk about the Cowboy Bebop.
We're just not going to talk about that. It's fine.
Just because they're on the right track doesn't mean they're not going to stumble. So the live action One Piece is awesome.
It's really good.
In
though.
a lot of ways, it's 1-for-1 with the series.
It accommodates for the fact that it is live action.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain things that we are never going to get with a live action adaptation of an anime, but they did their damnedest and did it good.
It is genuinely very solid, and for Tony, as someone who doesn't watch anime, I think watching that might be the kind of thing that would get you into anime.
Mm-hmm. Not specifically One Piece, because that's a whole time sink. Like right now, to watch the entirety of One Piece.
Tony, you should just watch My Hero Academia. It's very good.
It's very good. It's also almost over, so like there's that.
I love slice of life anime.
So yeah, it would take over 2 months of non-stop marathon watching to get through all the episodes.
That's too much.
In addition to the 15 films, most of which are canon, which would be another 27 hours, or 22.7 hours.
I'd like to point out that this one anime has as much viewing content as the MCU.
But no, it's 436.8 hours that we have up to date on One Piece material.
Which that is why that's why they're making the new One Piece anime.
That being said, there is a good like fourth of that is replays or filler.
Yeah, and that's a lot of what they're cutting out.
Yes. Because the beginning of each One Piece episode is, here, have 15 minutes of recap from the last episode where we didn't give you anything. And there's tiny little bit of new animation at the end. And end scene. Okay, sure, why not? But yeah, so I'm really hyped for the new. Personally, I am really hyped to get back into anime as it is, because for a while there, I dropped off the face of the planet. I was only watching what I was previously watching, nothing new, nothing eh. And now I'm finally getting back to, okay, what's coming out this season? Cool, I'm watching that.
Actually, I need to correct a statement I made. Netflix is making itself a really solid platform for new anime, live action and otherwise. Because with this Devil May Cry, that's adding to their growing category of anime based in video games, with shows like Arcane and Castlevania, which are both also really good, and in at least 1/3 of these situations, better than the source game.
Are we throwing shade?
I didn't specify anything.
Are we throwing shade?
But yeah, so I am really interested in this, and honestly, if it weren't for the anime offerings that Netflix has, I wouldn't even have a Netflix subscription anymore.
That is valid. Pretty much the same for me. I have Crunchyroll and I have Netflix, and those are my things that I pay for.
Yeah, those are the two that we won't give up. Sorry, we have 3 because we also have Dropout.
That's valid.
Because we support small content, and Dropout is small big content.
Small big content. It's small enough for not a whole bunch of people to know about it. Yeah, big enough for all the nerds to know.
Also, They've been dropping Taskmaster hints.
Apparently, you're still sharing screen, Rev.
No, I'm not.
Lovely.
It's just our note stock.
Oh, well, it's fine. Yeah, you get to see what we get our talking points from.
Oh no, you're gonna know what we're gonna talk about before we talk about it. Except that we've run
Except
out of
it's
notes.
over.
We're done.
Conclusion. I think I'm gonna be playing the Devil May Cry games again, just because I need a refresher course.
Once it comes out, if you want to talk about it, we can.
Absolutely. It comes out in fucking April next year.
Coming out in like 2 weeks is the first 3 episodes of season 3 of Legend of Vox Machina.
That is true. Along with what else was coming out? Was it Hazbin Hotel?
Is Hasbin coming out in October?
I think so.
I know they were greenlit for an additional new season as well.
Yes. I don't know why I'm looking on there. I have my entire fucking computer right here.
Release date was announced in September of 2023. No, the second season was announced.
Season 2 release date.
What? Oh, okay, good.
Unless, of course, I'm getting this completely mixed around.
I do not see anything current mentioning a release date.
Yeah.
At a guess, we could expect season 2 in early to mid 2025.
We have a trailer? Do we have a trailer, or is this fuckery? Nope, this is just fuckery.
Yeah.
Okay. I might be completely wrong. Ignore me.
Arcane
for sure,
has more coming out in October. Yes, that's it.
That might be what I was thinking about. I follow entirely too many.
We were just talking about Arcane too.
Yay.
Staying on Netflix adaptations, Avatar was greenlit for the next 2 seasons.
Yes!
So we'll get the complete show. I'm super excited to see where it goes. I don't care what a lot of the haters said. I thought the show was amazing.
There's also the fact that a lot of the people were expecting the same happy-go-lucky Avatar that we had gotten previously. That's not the vibe anymore. That's not what sells.
Also, growing from that was a show where you could have 23 episodes over a span of 3 seasons, and it's voice actors, so it doesn't matter if they age. These are actual children that are going to outgrow the roles. They have to condense it. Or they have to work them more than they should be working children. So there are absolutely plot points and stories that need to be altered in order to make it work, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah. And honestly, what they have altered has been to the betterment of the overall show. Granted, I will always have that special little place for the original Avatar: The Last Airbender in my heart, because it is so fucking adorable and fun. Also, growing up, I had the biggest crush on Katara and Zuko, so...
Fair. Azula.
That's valid. You always have been kind of for the crazy ladies. Maylin. I love Maylin.
Give me a goth bitch, and I'll be happy.
If there's some degradation in there, even better. I'm sorry.
Ignore the dead flowers and goth shit.
But yeah, so it's honestly coming into a new era with a lot of the media nowadays being that darker, grungier tone. This fits really well, and it's got such a good story beats. I love it. I love it so much. But yeah, and obviously, I stand 100% behind they're gonna have to cut stuff out to keep this, one, safe for the kids who are acting, because they are children. They specifically hired children to fit the age demographic, which has been a big thing in a lot of people's complaints about media is you're hiring this 27-year-old to play a 14-year-old. That's not right.
Which
Okay.
one of Sky's biggest rants about the people complaining about Avatar was the people that were complaining that the child actors were not emoting well enough. It's like these are, again, child actors, and for several of them, their first ever gig.
Right?
Bear
Like, a
with them
lot of
as they
them.
figure it out.
On top of the fact that people aren't gonna, as two individuals with autism, we had to learn how to emote from the child standpoint any fucking way. So, like, I'm finding this very relatable. I did not emote correctly. People were very concerned about this, but they did nothing about it. At least with these kids, it's because they're not doing the thing that their brain naturally says for them to do.
Yeah.
That side rent done. It is coming from a space where I do voice acting on the side every once in a while. It takes a lot of training and time to get yourself to the point where you are, one, comfortable adding the faces and the emotion to this thing that you're not actually feeling. And two, being able to do that at the drop of a fucking hat. Because, like, I can, when I was first starting, I could get myself into a place where I could be like, yeah, no, I'm super happy, or I'm super sad. I don't know what I'm doing. Versus now where I can just, like, flip that fucking switch whenever. I blame D&D.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like Netflix. They're doing some good stuff with lots of different things. And honestly, they're covering a wide variety of genres,
There.
which feels good. You know? That being said, I have no idea what else to say.
Honestly, yeah, I feel like we've run it this week.
Yay! Look at us doing so great from the spawn camp.
That said, I have the schedule for this week's shows, and it is not up to date, but it still has the correct show time, so we're going to go to that. This week
Well,
we've got the One Shot Wonderarium playing something spooky.
Era of Silence.
Era of Silence. Nice. Then on Wednesday night we've got the Wednesday night revival with the Vitan Octet, where our very own Blood here
Hello.
is running it and dealing with our shenanigans as we ruin everything. And I quote, try to 9/11 their game.
This is the worst. This is the worst timeline.
We've got we've got Thursday, where we fight with Baldur's Gate 3. Maybe we'll be playing that this week. If not, we'll probably be
I am
back to
currently
Stardew.
running tests on whether or not we can go back to the old Mon manager and just say fuck it to the new one because Larian,
Nice.
when I catch you, Larian.
And then back here in 1 week, where we're going to have Spawn Camp, and we're going to talk about what's new.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time. Bye!
Bye-bye.